That main event, though. What about it, guys? What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your July, I think, 6th Raw review. It's ridiculous o'clock in the morning, and that's not why I'm tired. I'm tired because of writing down 2 pages of notes on the main event of this show. Two Monday Night Raws on the bounce where Cesaro and Cena really made everything else feel irrelevant. I can speak, I swear, bad start to the video, irrelevant. And when we opened up the show with Brock Lesnar, that's quite a hefty statement, isn't it? So let's get right into it. I will say, please go back. You got 20-something days to get your questions in for the next Q&A. As you all know, Fan Interaction and Answers is on hiatus. I will be doing the fights on Wednesday night this week. I will be doing the preview panel for Battleground next Wednesday. So there's a lot of fun stuff coming this way. And of course, the week after that will be Ask the Phoenix. I have been trying, as I was asked in the last one, to put it up on Twitter, let you guys know how many days you have left, etc. It's cool, I'm getting there, whatever. We start off the show with Lesnar and Heyman. Suplex City chants. Suplex City chants. Chicago is Suplex City sign in the crowd is one of the first things we see on the show. Heyman comes out, talks about how Lesnar is the nightmare of Suplex City. Obviously, the chants get louder. Rollins thinks that Lesnar is still in Tokyo. I don't think that's the case, but whatever. Calls him Justin Bieber and calls him the luckiest guarded champion ever, which is a good thing. Lesnar is the god. Lesnar is a god, but he's not the god of generosity or kindness or caring or any of those things. He's the god of violent retribution. Rollins is going to be his next victim. Lesnar is the sword to pierce Rollins' shield. And I find that funny, only because you guys know, if you've been watching these videos for a long time, what's been bugging me ever since Rollins' heel turn is he still references the Shield. And he's the only one that still references the Shield, other than if Rollins if Ambrose or Reigns are talking to him. Then they mention the Shield. Then it makes sense to reference the Shield. But he mentions it all the time. And talks about Lesnar's history of taking what he wants. He wanted the Taker's streak. It wasn't out of disrespect. Taker just had something he wanted. Cena, he didn't respect, but he didn't disrespect him. Cena just had something he wanted. He beat down Roman Reigns at WrestleMania because he wanted to. But Lesnar does not respect Rollins. Rollins interfered in the championship match between him and Cena. Rollins robbed him at WrestleMania of his title without being pinned, and Rollins and his authority goons beat him down 4-on-1 a couple weeks ago on Raw. The Beast is hungry for revenge. The beatings will begin tonight. Chicago will be Suplex City Hall. Oh yes, no interruptions, no interactions with anybody else. Great opening segment. What's not so great is Big Show versus Ryback. What is great is Miz with a microphone at ringside, basically heckling, for lack of a better term, the whole match. Collar and elbow tie-up and a slam by Big Show. Show with body shots and chops in the corner. Miz gets the crowd to do a one more time chant, and there's more and more and more chops in the corner by the Big Show. Miz distracts and Ryback comes back with his own chops. Kitchen sink by the Big Show. There's a lot of kitchen sinks on the show tonight. This is the Raw. For every time anybody said everything but the kitchen sink, all the kitchen sinks were on this Raw tonight. Just, if I can be corny for a second, they were all on this show here tonight. Corner shoulders by Ryback. Reverse facebuster thing by Show. Basically, he had Ryback in sort of a bear hug position, lifted him up, and fell backwards onto his own back, which is, we're supposed to believe, drove Ryback into the ring by his face. We go to commercial break. We come back, and I'm legitimately impressed because the Big Show has Ryback in the late, great Eddie Guerrero's lasso from El Paso submission, which is not only a really, really wicked move that we haven't seen in a long time, but very, very impressive when put on by somebody that's a brontosaurus like the Big Show. Big Show also does a modified cross-body thing. The crowd in Chicago, I should say, they're not chanting CM Punk just yet. No, they're chanting Cleveland sucks at The Miz. Oh yeah. Corner splash by Show, chop block by Ryback. They trade punches for a while. Shoulder tackle, successful after the third try by Ryback. Meat hook clothesline and a running splash by Ryback. Chokeslam by the Big Show. Second rope elbow by the Big Show after Ryback fails to do a splash. Miz jumps into the ring and tries to jump both men, tries to boot both men. They stand up very, very quickly, and my boy is trapped. He gets a shell shock, he gets a chokeslam, but Big Show also gets a meat hook clothesline, and Ryback stands tall with very, very loud Chicago-level feed me more chants. It's good. It's a good little thing. We get a video package basically illustrating the new Team Bella, which is Brie and Nikki and Alicia Fox, and how Paige is all on her own and whatever, and we have Brie versus Paige tonight. My notes for this match are very scratchy because most of the times when I should have wrote Brie, I wrote Nikki, so I'm gonna fumble while I go through this match. I'm telling you guys this in advance. Collar and elbow tap to start, and mudhole by Paige. Brie, there we go. Can't read already. Brie slingshots Paige off the apron to the outside. Basically, Paige is standing on the apron, facing out into the crowd. Brie grabs her by the hair, pulls her against the ropes, and basically the rope's momentum shoots her off the apron to the outside. It's a better looking spot than I'm describing. Let's just say that, man. Brie with an armbar and a step over choke. Basically, she's got her arm barred, and she steps over so that her leg is wrapped around Paige's head. So you're working the neck, you're working the arm. You should be working the head because your finisher is that X Factor thing, but she transitions to choking on the ropes. Cheap shot by Alicia Fox and Nikki on the outside. Brie tries to follow up from her teammate's help with a running knee, but Paige gets out of the way, and Brie hits her Team Bella associates on the apron with that running knee. Running knee by Paige hits the mark, and she hits the 10 knees in the corner, which is excellent, and the rolling clotheslines, which are also very, very excellent, and basically anything that Paige does is excellent. You guys know this. Up until we get Becky Lynch on the main roster, Paige is my girl. I like Nikki. I can deal with Brie. Alicia Fox is along for the ride because, you know, somebody else said, can you take my kid with you on the trip, and all that sort of thing. Paige tosses Brie into... Okay, sorry, hold on. Rolling clotheslines by Paige and a super kick by Paige. Paige tosses Brie into Nikki, who's trying to make a distraction on the apron. Paige takes that exact same moment to super kick Alicia Fox off the apron, but turns around into an X Factor by Brie. I don't know what cheap-ass girly name they're giving it, but I'm calling it the X Factor because that's what it is. X Factor by Brie. Brie wins the match. Brie then picks up Paige to get a scissor kick by Alicia Fox and a rack attack by Nikki, who she's facing at Battleground, which is all good. We get a video package highlighting the feud between Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. It's all good. Roman Reigns versus Sheamus is our next match, and whatever. Roman Reigns is pissed off because I guess he watched the video package, which he shouldn't really have to because it's about him. He knows what's happened to him. But we go on. Roman shows how pissed off he is by taking Sheamus' Money in the Bank briefcase and throwing it out of the ring. Collar and elbow ties and a slam by Roman. Sheamus rides a headlock for a long time because you know Sheamus by now. He's a nice guy. In case you forget, he will remind you that he's a bad guy. Kitchen sink. There it is again. By Sheamus, a slam and 2 dropping knees to the head. Roman slams Sheamus off the top rope, which is nice. Sheamus is tossed onto the outside, brawling on the outside where Sheamus eats guardrail. Running knee by Sheamus, and Roman eats the ring post and falls from the turnbuckle. Basically, they're battling at the top. Roman is up on the apron climbing the turnbuckle. Sheamus is on the inside of the ring climbing the turnbuckle. They battle. Roman eats the top of the turnbuckle post and falls to the ring. To the floor outside. It's a nice, neat little spot. Coming back from commercial break, we have Sheamus once again being that great superstar that he is, reminding us that he's a bad guy by riding that headlock. And this is the first, at least that I noticed. They might have done it before in other matches that I was paying attention to other things. This is the first time I noticed a CM Punk chant. Clothesline by Sheamus, Samoan drop facebuster by Roman. Gets him up in the Samoan drop position, but he doesn't drop him backwards. He sort of flips him upwards so that he's kind of doing what Big Show did before, and basically dropping the guy down on his face from the Samoan drop position. Samoan drop, facebuster. I will make up names for things that I don't know what they're called. Multiple clotheslines by Roman, low apron dropkick and a proper Samoan drop by Roman. Irish curse backbreaker by Sheamus. Both men trade punches for a long time. Superman punch and lights go out. We see Wyatt on the ramp, or who we at least assume is Wyatt. Roman is distracted, goes up the rampway to beat up who he thinks is Wyatt, pulls the wig off of who he thinks is Wyatt, so that obviously it's not Wyatt. Wyatt teases him from the Tron, Sheamus wins by countout, and that's how we end the segment. But Roman Reigns runs off to handle his business. Sheamus is standing there so heely and victorious in the ring with his countout victory, and gets jumped by Randy Orton for reasons. Brawls with Sheamus, brawls around the ring. Orton eats post. Orton rolls, supposedly very injured, into the ring, lures Sheamus into the ring for an RKO out of nowhere, and that is how we end the segment. If this match hasn't already been announced for Battleground, I'm going to call it right now that we're going to see Sheamus versus Orton, just because we can and it's good. Rollins is in the back talking to Triple H about how Lesnar has threatened to find him tonight and suplex him tonight and kill him tonight, more or less. And Triple H says you got to do the one thing that Lesnar isn't expecting. What did Paul Heyman say? The 11th commandment is thou shalt not intentionally, stir up shit with Brock Lesnar, for lack of a better term. Rollins decides it's a brilliant idea. He's going to call out Brock Lesnar tonight. Oh, Rollins, you get the idea. He's going to get owned. Rusev and Summer Rae come out. Big USA chants. I'm in Canada. Okay? I am in Canada. And I want to chant USA at Rusev. Is that bad? Is that me getting swept up into the storyline? Is that just me being a not-so-patriotic Canadian this close to Canada Day? Tell me what you think. Put it down in the box below. The fact that I want to chant USA at Rusev, does that make me a bad Canadian, or does that just mean I'm following the storyline? Or does that just mean Lana is fucking hot and she's on Team USA? Speaking of which, Rusev refers to his new girlfriend, Summer Rae, as the hot and submissive Summer, which obviously gets a "We Want Lana" chant from the Chicago crowd. I wasted a year of my life with her, and Ziggler isn't even on my level. I don't know why I wasted my time with him. Summer Rae says that the crowd should show his man some respect, and Rusev tells her not to waste her hot words on the crowd. Huge boost for that. Ziggler comes out, says your brain is broken like your ankle, you owe Lana everything. She's the best thing you ever had, and now she's gone. She's gone because I found her. And they start eating face like a true babyface couple should do, except not. We almost see the girls square off again. I really want to see Summer Rae versus Lana at Battleground or SummerSlam bikini contest. Make it happen. This can be a thing. Rusev beats down Ziggler with a crutch, and we realize very slowly after Summer Rae tosses out Lana that there is nothing wrong with Rusev. He kicks off his air cast and beats the crap out of Ziggler with the crutch. I say he kicks off his air cast. The one thing that made this segment horrible, Rusev takes forever and a day and proves that he really doesn't know how to take off the cast. And it's funny because he seems more frustrated with the fact that he can't get the cast off than he is with Ziggler. But Rusev concentrates on the beatdown. Big USA chant. Rusev responds to the USA chant with basically posting Ziggler. And what I mean by that, we've all seen the spot where somebody takes the edge of the folding chair, puts it right about here, rams the chair into the ground. He does that, but he does it from a much higher position because he does it with the crutch, which, I mean, I guess it being higher, it gives him more of a whiplash. Ziggler sells the hell out of it, obviously. We're going to see these guys at Battleground. We're going to see a mixed tag at SummerSlam. We're going to see a mixed tag at Battleground and then the bikini contest at SummerSlam. Just putting it out there. WWE, I could write this story for you right now. I'm just saying, get Joey Ryan on loan from TNA for a day. He could referee a bra and panties match. It could be a thing. Bo Dallas versus Dean Ambrose, which, let's be real, should be a squash. Isn't quite a squash, but let's go. Ambrose turns Bo Dallas's bullshit handshake into a clothesline and a mudhole stomp by Ambrose and some chops. We get from the Chicago crowd, which is fantastic, dueling "Let's go Ambrose, we believe" chants. So you get "Let's go Ambrose, we believe," and it's good. And it's not like it happens once or twice. It maintains through most of the match. A boot by Bo and a reverse clothesline basically clotheslines the back of his neck, which which is a nice spot, especially when you got somebody like Ambrose selling it. Bo rides a headlock, reminding us that he's the most positive heel in history. He's trying to get his card in. He really is trying to be the Owen Hart of the New Day, I think is what's happening right there. Bo misses a running knee. Ambrose hits a splash and a bulldog. Standing elbow drop by Ambrose. Rebound clothesline, Dirty Deans, and Ambrose gets the win. Realistically, with the popularity of Ambrose, I'm surprised that Bo Dallas got move 1 in on this match. But the fact that it wasn't entirely a squash makes it good, I suppose, because a squash, at the end of the day, we know Ambrose is nuts. We know Ambrose can destroy people. A squash doesn't do anybody any good. I mean, you get matches where people are going up against Adam Rose, for example. And this is, there's certain things that people think in the WWE are really, really funny and stupid and really a waste of time. You get somebody like Adam Rose, who is legitimately a stupid gimmick that they're trying to dial down, who's legitimately a good wrestler, and let him do it. Adam Rose, when he pulls off as soon as Adam Rose pulls off his Spinebuster, you forget about his goofy gimmick for a second. When you see Fandango sort of shed the Fandango a little bit and be a little bit more Johnny Curtis NXT, you're reminded of how good he actually is, and you're reminded why his first match ever in the WWE was against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. So Bo Dallas, sure, he needs to stop talking in the pedophile voice, like that could be a thing. But speaking of silly things that are kind of guilty pleasures for me, because I'm actually finding them perversely entertaining, King Barrett versus King What's Up, R-Truth. I love this story, and I'm going to try to explain why. Because we as wrestling fans know that there are things we hold near and dear to our hearts that we only hold near and dear to our hearts because we choose to, because if we looked at them with an objective point of view, they're dumb. And one of the things we hold, or we used to hold near and dear to our hearts, is the King of the Ring. Whereas anybody, especially somebody that's not a wrestling fan, would be like, who's that fucking goofball in the crown? Who's that goofball in the robe? And you kind of have to admit that it's lame. Whereas here you have King Barrett trying to make it worth something. Now, he's only trying to make it worth something because he won it. But now you got R-Truth, who's beat him, who thinks he should be the king, who's making the whole thing silly. And King Barrett needs the King of the Ring to be important because it's the only thing he's got going for him right now. So it's a nice, neat little thing. It's like, I'm important, I won this, I am the king, I rule over the WWE Universe Kingdom, however you want to say it. And R-Truth comes along as a parody to show you just how silly it is. They trade punches, and there's a quick roll-up and a headlock by R-Truth at the start. Mudhole by Barrett. Truth tosses Barrett out of the ring. Truth eats the apron back first. Truth gets shoved into the apron back first, and then into the post head first. Twice, which is good. We're working on the head, thinking about the bullhammer later on in the match. It's good. Mounted punches by Barrett. Barrett rides a headlock. Much like his buddy Sheamus, he's trying to be a nice guy. He's trying to butter us up by doing something friendly, like reminding us that he's a bad guy. Barrett rides that headlock just to remind us. Boot by Truth. Boot by Barrett. We go to the commercial break. Leg lariat by Truth and a scissor kick, both of which are really nice. And stuff like that, Truth really doesn't get credit for, I'm sorry to say. Corner splash and a crucifix pin attempt by R-Truth are also really good. Bullhammer misses. Boot by Truth. Top rope not by R-Truth is merely set up so that Bullhammer can hit in midair and Barrett can get the win. In the back, not in the back, we go to videotape replay of the Rusev attack on Ziggler a couple segments ago, and then we go to the back. See, I got there in the end. And we see Ziggler getting loaded into the ambulance. Rollins comes out with J&J security, but he doesn't just come out with J&J security, he comes out with an axe handle. Now, I want to make a joke because the axe handle is one of the most generic top rope wrestling moves that there is, but he's got an actual wooden axe handle. Now, why it's just a handle kind of sounds lame until you figure out what happens later on, but he's carrying an axe handle. He's got a weapon. It's a little bit more intimidating than a kendo stick because we all know the kendo sticks will splinter if you look at them the wrong way. J&J don't come out the entranceway. They come in their Corvette that they got from Rollins last week. They've customized it. They've put camouflage striping down the side of it. They've got a vanity J&J plate and some skulls and a whole bunch. My chair's doing its thing again. They've done a bunch of horrible. I'm not a car guy. I don't don't drive. But I know they've done horrible things to this car. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be an issue in a second or two. They get axe handles out of the trunk. Triple H and Steph know that I can beat Lesnar, Rollins says. I've conquered the Conqueror. I set fire to Suplex City, and at Battleground it's going to burn to the ground. Lesnar is yesterday's news, and you get dueling Suplex City Justin Bieber chants. Which makes me think, even when he turns face, is he ever going to escape the Justin Bieber thing? I don't think so. He calls out Brock Lesnar, and his last line is, "Are you the Beast or are you Paul Heyman's bitch?" Which is nice. Lesnar comes out, and he sees three guys in the ring with big, heavy wooden sticks, and he thinks better of it. Paul Heyman comes out, big shit-eating grin on his face, with a big, it almost looks like a musician's case, but it ends up being the fire and rescue supply case. And while the three guys in the ring have axe handles, he pulls out two legitimate fireman's axes. And there's a prop. There is a prop. There is a rule in wrestling that if there's a prop, it will be destroyed. It's like the birthday cake rule, but that's another story for another time. He destroys their car. It's a good thing he has two axes, because with his first swing, he buries the first axe in the door, to which it won't really come out right away. Smashes out all the lights, smashes out the back. He tears the back door off and chucks it. I don't think he knows his own strength, because he actually chucks it within about a couple of feet of the rear row of fans, which wouldn't have been good. And the padding from the inside of the door flies even closer to the fans. He one of them at one point, whether it's Michael Cole or whether it's one of the other commentators, refers to him as a Viking lumberjack, which is funny because when Lesnar's not wrestling, he goes home and he's a farm boy, so it's not very far off the mark. J&J are suicidal. They go up the ramp to try and save their car. Quick Kimura lock breaks Jamie Noble's arm, and then which is impressive on its face because Jamie Noble's still dealing with the rib issue. Mercury gets slammed on the car. Then he gets pulled off the car so that he can be suplexed back onto the car. The commentators on point saying it's too bad they parked their car in Suplex City. Rollins bails. Lesnar poses in the middle of the ring with Rollins' belt and Rollins' axe handle, which is fantastic. What's coming up next, I have an issue with. The next match I'm about to talk about is fantastic, but WWE, you took a bunch of steps forward in logic. This has been a great show so far, in my personal opinion. Even the gimmicky stuff has been okay. There hasn't been any Santino, any Adam Rose, anything like that. We got the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. Now, New Day as a whole, after what happened on Saturday at the Beast in the East WWE special, which was good, and no, to my friend Guapo who asked me on Twitter, I did not get up at 5:30 in the morning to watch it. I watched it at about noon. It was really good. Obviously, the headline of that was Balor versus Owens, which was just... I won't review the show. I will just say, go and find that match. It's fucking phenomenal. And Lesnar destroyed Kofi Kingston, and the jokes went around almost immediately, R.I.P. Kofi Kingston, July 4th, 2015. But here is where I have a problem. I'm not going to review that show. I really won't, because there's nothing other than... I mean, yeah, it was cool to see Jericho, because Jericho's doing his house show circuit. He had a really good match with Neville that opened the show, which was great. The Divas had a decent match. Tamina actually got to look good for once. As I say, Owens versus Balor was... Just go watch it. But the main event was Cena and Ziggler versus Kane and Wade Barrett, which wins the I don't give a shit championship of the world. But... I'm trying to find a way to say this without absolutely going on a rant. Kofi Kingston was destroyed by Lesnar. New Day came in to help him at the end. They ate a couple suplexes for their troubles. New Day should not be on this show tonight, but it's a tag match. So you figure Big E and Xavier Woods, they only took a couple suplexes each. They can shake it off. They can come to Raw. So they have that option because they're a 3-man team and they're going to be going into a tag team match. So it's always like it's going to be a battleground. What 2 members of the New Day are going to be in this match? Kofi Kingston is in this match and not showing any ill effects. So this is where I say WWE took 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They just showed how destructive Lesnar can be in the last segment. But here's a little, I'm sorry, mid-card guy that got his ass handed to him on Saturday by Lesnar, who's perfectly fine by Monday to be in a match. There's always got to be a flaw in the show, doesn't there? Anyway. Other than that, this is a good match. They make their entrance and they look at the car that Lesnar's just destroyed, and they all look significantly disturbed by it. At least that pays some heritage to the fact that they all got owned on Saturday morning. Sin Cara and Kofi trade punches. Sin Cara hits a back body drop immediately. Assisted splash by Kalisto, corkscrew crossbody, and a rolling kick by Kalisto. Lucha double suicide dive is blocked by Xavier Woods on the apron. So instead, Kalisto hits an assisted dropkick to get Woods off the apron. And a 2-on-3 splash by the Lucha Dragons on the New Day on the outside. Basically, the 2 of them came off the 2 posts on the 3 members of the New Day. It's a lot. Again, it's one of those, it's a lot better than what I'm explaining it to be. Underhook full Nelson by... on Kalisto by Kofi Kingston. Body blows and a belly-to-belly by Big E, abdominal stretch by Big E, top rope stomp by Kofi, and a front slam, springboard headbutt, and a springboard crossbody by Sin Cara, springboard moonsault by Sin Cara. Sin Cara hits a swanton bomb to a standing Kofi Kingston, which is nice. This is a lot like Ambrose doing the elbow drop, which is typically done to a fallen opponent while they're standing. This, a moonsault to a swanton bomb to a standing opponent onto Kofi Kingston is equally as impressive. And you know, swanton bomb, me, big Jeff Hardy fan, it's always going to get a point in my book. Jawjacker by Kofi Kingston. Kofi hits a second rope tornado DDT attempt, but he is caught. He is caught, and it's countered into a modified perfect plex by Sin Cara. So basically, he jumps onto him like he would do for the tornado DDT, except he doesn't get to pull it back because it gets turned into a perfect plex by Sin Cara, which is not what you would predict. The Lucha Dragons eventually do hit their double suicide dive to the outside, but here's how this goes. Kalisto, they both dive through the ropes at their opponents, at Big E and Kofi Kingston. Big E catches Kalisto in a belly-to-belly suplex so that he looks like roadkill. Woods pulls Kofi out of the way entirely so that Sin Cara eats the guardrail so that he looks like roadkill. That the double team big ending by Big E, and Kofi Kingston gets the New Day the win. This was a fantastic match. A lot of stuff you didn't expect. You see power moves from Sin Cara, which you don't expect because he's a high flyer, and it's kind of like I say with Neville, when you picture high flyers, you naturally picture them as being smaller guys, which isn't always the case. Speaking of powerful guys, Jesus Christ, and I have, guys, 3 pages on a Cena match. 3 pages on a Cena match. It's the, here you go. Here's an even bigger thing. Cena's in the main event, and I don't mind one bit. Last week, we thought we were going to get Cena Owens 3 for the U.S. title. Instead, we got Cena Cesaro. This week, instead of Cena Owens 3, we got Cena Cesaro 2, which I am okay with. Cena comes out to do the open challenge, and as my notes usually say at this point in the night, Cena talks a lot. He basically does the, Chicago's the place to be, and I'm still the man to beat. The John Cena Open Challenge starts now. If you want some, come get some. Owens comes out and says, "You are the worst part of Raw," which is fantastic. I need to take that. I wanted that title before. Now that I've lost the NXT title, I need to take that title off you just to shut you up so I don't hear any of that garbage anymore. I want the title shot tonight. He's cut off by Cesaro, who says, "You need to step aside, you don't deserve it, I do. You cost me the US title shot last week because you're jealous that I was about to do what you couldn't do and take the title off of John Cena." This is interesting, because people will argue with me that Cesaro is still a heel. Cesaro and Kid are one of the most over tag teams on the roster, and he's sort of being respectful to Cena and telling off Owens, and he's put Owens in his place on SmackDown as well, so there's no real way, other than the fact that John Cena is super babyface, that Cesaro is really a heel at all. Why? There. I do things and the screen stays lit and you can still see my pretty sexy face because it's not a collab video. We're good. Owens leaves with no whatever. He says, Cesaro tells him, if you don't leave, you're not only going to have a problem with Cena, you're going to have a problem with me too. I really hope the rumors of this being a triple threat match at SummerSlam are true because, take my money. Just take it. Collar and double types. This is a long match, guys. So pause the video right now. Go get yourself a drink. I've got two. I've got a fuck off big jug size cup of iced tea, and I've got water because this one's gonna take a while. Cena versus Cesaro. Collar and elbow tie up to start. A headlock by Cesaro. Uppercut by Cesaro takes us into our first commercial break. We come back and there's a headlock by Cesaro because he's not really. Five knuckle shuffle is stopped by a clothesline. Cena eats turnbuckle. Stomps by Cesaro in a stalling vertical suplex. A face first electric chair drop by Cena. Both men trade punches for a while. And AA is countered into a DDT by Cesaro, which is really, really nice. Double foot stomp off of the apron onto the floor by Cesaro. Cena's on the floor, Cesaro's on the apron. Double foot stomp to the gut is really nice. Cesaro rides a headlock, then turns it into a neck crimp, then turns it into a Cobra Clutch, taking us into our next commercial break. Shoulder tackle by Cena, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Cesaro, back suplex twice by Cena. Five knuckle shuffle is converted into a crossface by Cesaro, which is really, really nice. I think it's just a matter of, it's not just the sharpshooters. I think with Kid being out, Cesaro is just taking anything that's Canadian, really. I mean, we're not allowed to say that it's the Canadian crippler. Anyways, STF by Cena, STF by Cena, and a back body drop. Rolling gut wrench suplexes by Cesaro are fucking beautiful. Cesaro swings. Cesaro attempts the Cesaro swing. Literally in Cesaro's grip, Cena sits up and turns it into a DDT. Props to Cena for that one. Props to Cena for this whole fucking match. I'll just say it right off the cuff. Cesaro kicks Cena from the top rope to the floor. At this point, the commentators start selling that Cena might have been injured off of that fall. Cena uppercuts Cesaro Cesaro uppercuts Cena into the guardrail. Cesaro off the top rope with some sort of splash thing, I guess. Cena rolls through into the AA as he usually does, but Cesaro jumps off of Cena's shoulders to get out of the AA, which is cool. Cesaro tries the pop-up powerbomb, but Cena counters it into a head scissor, and I have to say, Cena's head scissor is getting better. It's not a cruiserweight head scissor by any stretch of the imagination, but it is good. It's got that, like, awkward, powerful kind of vibe to it like Ken Shamrock's used to. Black hole slam into an X Factor by Cena is a new one for him. Springboard corkscrew European uppercut by Cesaro. Cesaro hits a fallaway slam onto the guardrail. Cena back body drops onto the Cena back body drops Cesaro into the timekeeper's area, where you literally see Cesaro behind the rail there, grabbing somebody's cold water bottle and putting it to his neck. So you gotta wonder what he did there. Top rope famouser by Cena. Pop up uppercut by Cesaro. AA by Cena. But that doesn't end the match. It's fantastic. Cesaro swing into the sharpshooter. Cesaro swing transitions into the sharpshooter, transitions into the crossway face, which is countered into an STF. But the last bit of this sequence, Cesaro is in the STF, stands up, and from Cena being wrapped around him, sort of grabs Cena off of himself and turns it into a deadlift suplex. There's not even words. There really, really isn't even words. Springboard stunner doesn't get all of, Cena does not get all of the springboard stunner that he wants to. Cesaro hits a perfect neutralizer. Cena hits a second rope tornado TDT, which Cesaro blocks. This is very similar to what Sin Cara did earlier in the night. Cesaro blocks the tornado DDT because once again he comes off where you basically jump on the guy's shoulders and you want to turn it around into a DDT, but Cesaro blocks it in midair, turns it into a face first slam, and turns it into a crossface. If you picture the way Sin Cara when when Kalisto played Sin Cara, when he did that ridiculous head scissor thing into an armbar. It was kind of like that, but it was a simple slam into a crossface. Second rope deadlift outside in vertical suplex by Cesaro as he does. Batista bomb by Cena. They brawl on the second rope. Second rope attitude adjustment gets the win for Cena. Guys, this was the best Cena match I've seen in a fucking long ass time. This, I hate to say it, because you know me, I'm famous for not liking Cena, but I haven't really been hating Cena since WrestleMania, so whatever. This is a match of the year contender, for sure. For definite. I mean, I know everybody wants to throw in their Rollins matches and their Neville matches and their Finn Balor matches and their Ambrose matches and their Wyatt matches and their Daniel Bryan matches, and we're not supposed to like anything that John Cena does. This match, I swear to God, if you didn't watch Raw tonight, well, first of all, if you didn't watch Raw, I don't know why you're watching this review, but if you didn't watch Raw, go watch this match. If you did watch Raw and you don't agree with me, go and watch this match again. Full respect to Cesaro, don't get me wrong. Cesaro should be a lot higher than he is. I agree with everybody on that. But go and take the Cena blinders off for a second and give the guy the benefit of the doubt and watch this match again. Because he's not being Cena, guys. I don't know how to say it. I know what we hate about Cena. I really do. And I get it. The idea of Cena, I really do. But it's just fucking, this could be match of the year so far. Like, I'm not gonna say that because somebody will pull up something that was better, something that they enjoyed better, something that had better this, better that, crisper this, better selling here, Roddy Raw. I won't say that it is, but this will be in the conversation at the end of the year when we talk about match of the year, when we talk about Raw segment of the year, main event of the year, etc. This match will be in the conversation. That's all I'm saying. Of course, after the match, Owens jumps Cena, fails a pop-up powerbomb, eats the AA instead, and Cena looks victorious. I hope Cena keeps looking victorious going into Battleground, because that will indicate to me that Owens is going to be victorious coming out of Battleground, and won't that just make everybody happy? Anyways, guys, this has been a fantastic episode of Raw. We got one more Raw before Battleground. We have one more Raw before me and all my friends get together to gab excessively about Battleground, and Battleground looks like a fucking fantastic show. I'm losing my voice, as you can tell. As I say, I just keep saying it over and over again. Please keep contributing to my Q&A. It's a great thing. I love it. You guys know that. I love you guys tossing as much as you can at me. Get all your questions in before the 25th. It should be a lot of fun. As I say, the fights on Wednesday night and the preview panel and all the stuff going into Battleground. A lot of stuff coming your way. Rambling at this point because I have no voice and it's ridiculous o'clock in the morning, and I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all of these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm taking out. Bye, guys.
Sunshine, come a freak like me.